My stepbrother secretly married his toxic girlfriend and didn't invite his own family. Plus update. For context, I 21F have a stepbrother 19 meters, who I will call Tristan, that has been dating this girl 18F, I will call Heather, for about a year now. They met in high school when she was a junior and he was a senior. Throughout their relationship my family and I have seen red flags from Heather. In the beginning she seemed nice enough and we had no issues. This is until they were lying to my parents about her giving him rides home from school, hanging out, and you know the normal teenage things. A few months into their relationship, my parents caught them in adult activities, in his room, with the door open, while all of us were home. Of course arguing and yelling followed this and she left. This was on top of them lying about being a couple, lying about her driving him around and hanging out, him trying to sneak her in the house, and her having what I can only describe as a snobby attitude with my parents. Eventually my parents banned her from our house, but told them what they do together outside of our house isn't their business. They told me this too when I was with my ex. This is where I figured he would dump her, as that was his usual pattern with his version of dating. Tristan was a very troubled child to say the least. My stepmom and two stepbrothers moved in with my dad when I was about 10. I lived with my witch of a woman for a mother and her husband. They are a whole other story on their own. At the time and visited my dad on the weekends. Now, I moved in with my dad and stepmom after I turned 18. In the first 2 years of me living with my family, he had dated at least 4 different girls to my knowledge, and they all ended the same way. He would get some adult action for a few weeks, get caught or bored and move on to the next. But for some reason, Heather was different. He won't even hang out with his friends if they are going to a place like a club or bar because Heather won't like it. Personally, as a girlfriend, if I trusted my partner, I wouldn't care, but I know everyone is different for different reasons. Tristan is not one to be walked on, as he has had many fights with our parents, as he would do things like break into my room. It was so bad my dad put a lock on my door and it still didn't stop him, and steal my gaming console or tablet or sneak my stepmom's old phone or computer when we weren't home or sleeping. This behavior got better as we got older. Tristan was accepted early into the military before he even met Heather and had initially told her he wasn't sure how it would affect their relationship. This led to her screaming and crying about him not being able to promise they will be together forever, and that she can't handle a long-distance relationship. Surprise! Apparently she can, because he has been in the military for over a year now and has been home maybe 4 times. Tristan even broke down crying talking to my dad about the situation with her, because he didn't know what to do. And my dad told him that a good relationship should not make him feel this way. Remember when I said she was banned from the house? Well, my parents decided to be nice and let her come over for this past Christmas, as she doesn't care for either of her parents and my brother had asked, since it was Christmas. Well, my dad caught them in the act again when he went inside to get them, so we could go look at Christmas lights like we do every year. NOW. To the reason for this post. Tristan called the other night to tell us about his new job and that he is coming back home for a few days next week and wanted to maybe grab lunch or dinner the Thursday he is here, as he will be getting in late Wednesday night. Our family conversation was normal until he casually mentioned him getting married, to which he actually said that he fricked up by saying it. Since he messed up already, he came clean and told up that him and Heather are getting married a week from this coming Saturday, on a boat with her family that she hates and has nitrogen monoxide good relationships with. He never mentioned us being included in those plans. So my stepmom asked, and the conversation went something like this. Mom, what about us? Bro, well, I want you guys there, but Heather doesn't. She said it would ruin her plans and she kind of feels disrespected by you guys. Mom, silence, right? Well, anything to make her happy, I guess. Now I know I am on the younger side of this, however. I don't think that banning someone that has no respect for my parents in their own house and still giving them a second chance, which they failed again to be respectful, and yes, I do put fault on my brother for those actions as well, and so do my parents, and encouraging him to go to a bar and hang out with his friends where he is stationed instead of doing nothing and staying in his housing is so bad that you won't let your soon-to-be husband invite his own family to the wedding. Also, I and my grandmother, who is our next-door neighbor, have talked to this girl maybe 4 times the whole time they were together and kept my comments to myself. So not really sure what we did, but fine. My dad told him that it was unfortunate we weren't invited, especially because he told us he wanted us there, but because he never told us they have plans for a little vacation and I have to work, so we couldn't go. Even if he put his foot down on it, Dad told him that he is young and he needs to figure things out for himself. And we know he won't listen to us, since he never did before, and that, while we don't want him to marry this girl, it is his decision and it won't stop us from picking up the phone when he calls or having him come home to visit. However, it will not stop the inevitable conversation we all need to have. My family, him and his soon-to-be wife, if he truly wants to have us in his life, but she wants to exclude us because she feels this way. To this my brother reluctantly agreed. As of now, my dad and I are over it since we already figured something like this would happen, and my stepmom is very upset, which makes me angry. I love her so much. She is the mom that I never would have thought I could have. Her oldest son also joined the military and eventually faded us out for some reason. I wasn't very close with him since he left when I was like 15 and I barely saw him anyway. So she won't see him get married or meet his kids, if he has them, and now the same thing is starting with Tristan. If and when we hear anything or see him, I may give an update if you all would like. I really just needed to vent and get this off my chest, as I have been angry for 2 days now, and just writing this has made me feel better. Update. Hi everyone, it has been about a month since my original post and I did see quite a few people asking for an update. If you did not read my original post, here is a summary. My brother 19 meters and his girlfriend 18F planned on getting married and did not tell my family because his girlfriend felt disrespected because she was banned, not once but twice, from our home after lying, sneaking around, and being caught in action with my brother in my parents' house, all of which on multiple occasions. We only found out because my brother let it slip during a phone call, as he is in the military and we don't see him much. Now, for the update. My bestie found my post and urged me to update since it has been a while. Unfortunately, there is not much that I can say as of now since we still have not heard from him, and he is only posting his usual little memes on his social media. Although we haven't heard from him, we are taking the silence as they are now married and we have moved along with life and will be at the phone if and when he does finally call, since sometimes it is a few months before he does call, being busy with relocations and all. So when the time comes, as comments have said, I will have my popcorn ready and a moving truck if I have to. Also, my lovely grandma bet me $5 they won't make it to 6 months, so maybe she will pay for my popcorn when the time comes. Well, that's all for now.